Hi there, this is Pablo, and in this video we're going to talk about how to find broken triggers in Zendesk using Salto. So what is a broken trigger? Let's say that you have a trigger that uses a ticket field option in its conditions, and at a later stage you decide to remove this specific ticket option because it's no longer needed by the business. What happens is Zendesk actually does not warn you of this change. It doesn't tell you what are the triggers or automations that are using this option and thus could break if you remove it. So what would actually happen is that your trigger will silently stop working and you wouldn't know until people start reaching out to you because of a broken process. And this is what we call a broken trigger. So let's see how we can use Salto to find these broken triggers. So let's say I have this ticket field called escalation status, and one of the options is waiting on agent. We have decided not to use this option anymore, and instead we're just going to stick with investigating. So all I have to do here is remove this option here and click save. And that's it. Now, as I said earlier, there was no warning whatsoever about the implications of this change. Did I break any triggers or any automations or anything else that could have been using that specific value? And if I go over to my trigger section here, there is nothing that helps me find triggers that can no longer fire because of conditions that are invalid. So let's go over to Salto and see how we can find those triggers. Now I'm looking at my Zendesk environment through Salto where I can see all my configuration elements. And now I can see that there are 3 problems here at the bottom. So I'm going to click on that and see what's going on. And it appears here that there's an error with one of the triggers, which has an unresolved reference to a ticket field option. So let's go ahead and click on that to see what it is. So what I'm looking at here is the configuration of one of my triggers, and I can see here in the conditions that one of the values is actually a missing reference. Now this is a little hard to read, so let's actually take the name here and find this trigger in the element tree. Okay, much better. So now if I look at the trigger configuration, I see here that one of the conditions is checking that the escalation status field is missing, but I know that's actually not a value that I have. So let me go ahead and open that in Zendesk and see what's going on. Now that I'm in Zendesk, I can see that the escalation status is pointing to a value that is actually no longer available. And that is because I removed that option from the ticket field. So now I know that this trigger is actually broken and it can never fire. And now all I have to do is to change this to investigating and then save the changes. Another option is to search for instance.missing and then go to the content tab, and this will show you all the triggers that have missing references. And by that I mean triggers that have references to ticket options that no longer exist. So you can find them here very quickly. Finally, if you're using our monitoring service, you can create alerts to be notified when changes are done in your Zendesk triggers. You will receive a detailed report of all the changes, and here you can see if a trigger was changed and is now pointing to a missing ticket option. And that's how easy it is to use Salto to find broken triggers.